this video, I'm going to tell you almost everything you need to know about a player I think we're about to sign. Now, I say think we're about to sign. This is, well, it's not even transfer window yet, but it's already the start of silly season, even if officially the transfer window hasn't opened. Sometimes you get a story and it disappears. Sometimes you get a story and it comes from a source, and then other sort of websites and newspapers latch on and they report the same story. Sometimes momentum builds on a story and actually you get information from lots of different sources. So so fundamentally the story has the same outcome, but the component parts are different. I think this is exactly that. It does appear like we're bidding for this player, at least. Whether we get him or not, that's another matter. I'll cast your mind back to last season, and we did actually bid for Milenkovic, and we didn't sign him at all. So all I can say is we are in for this player. Negotiations with Stade Rennes, FC Stade Rennes, who cares? Anyway, the negotiations are quite far down the line, and it is for their defender, Naif Aguerd. It's very hard to say that without it sounding French. He's a Moroccan international, obviously plays in France for Stade Rennes. I guess, well, he's Moroccan, he speaks French, doesn't he? And it's very hard not for that not to sound sort of Peter Sellers-like in your Naif Aguerd. So you'll have to excuse me, or not, if it sounds a little bit French sometimes. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's what it seems to me. I didn't know anything about him. I've gone and found out, and I found a wonderful website that actually charts all the stats from the French league, so it's really good. I'm going to tell you lots about him. I found out all manner of things this morning, and also watched quite a lot of games. He shouldn't be completely unknown to us, this player, by the way, because obviously he's played against Leicester this season, and he's played against Tottenham Hotspur. Why? Well, because he played in the Conference League, basically, as did both those clubs. He played in the 3-0 win against Tottenham as well. So I've watched a lot of footage of him against European opponents, against some of the better French teams as well. I'll explain what type of player he is, but if you want to skip and not watch the rest of the video, he's okay. He's okay. I don't mean crap by that, but I don't mean brilliant. I mean, he looks to be an okay player. There you go. But he does have some qualities that I do think would probably suit West Ham down to the ground really well. Look, he's a left-footed central defender, so we know that we like that for the balance of the team. We knew that when Ogbono got injured, I felt clearly we coped okay. We finished 7th. We got to semi-final of the Europa Cup, but we definitely missed that balance on that side of the pitch. He's a left-footed central defender. He ain't slow. Actually, do you know what? I'll go as far as to say he's quite fast. Yeah, he is. He's quite fast. Not rapid. He's not full Carl Walker. Okay, he's a left-sided centre-back. He's pretty good in the air. I'll bring his stats up on the screen in just a second, actually, so as you can have a look. But what he is very good at is his interceptions are very good, and he's particularly good at long passing. You know, in the latter part of the season, Craig Dawson started to do these long Hollywood passes. Well, this guy does them all the time, and they're really accurate. And actually, what he seems to have in his locker, I don't know, what did I say his locker? What's he got in his locker? Well, probably a coat and some shoes. No, I'm not talking about that. What he's got in his repertoire and his skills is the ability to assist the assister. And actually, when I look at him, I think this guy is... I can believe this guy's been scouted because he does look tailor-made for a counter-attacking team. He really does. He also presses really well. His interceptions are pretty good. He's not bad on the ball at all, but his long passing. Basically, imagine if you were a left centre half that the moment we get possession, we'll look for the winger, a wide player, running in behind the back line. Or a forward pulling wide, and you sort of look and you think about West Ham and think, actually, this is the sort of way we play. Now, I'm not suggesting that he's absolutely brilliant, okay, but in terms of some of his stats are pretty good. In terms of passing out from the back in a long range pass, he's up there with the very best in La Liga. His aerial duels, he's pretty damn good. he's actually ranked, believe it or not. This website's very good that I've found, which is, it's called 1 versus 1. It's got all the stats from all the players in France. He's ranked as the 15th best defender in the French league. Okay, now that's not fantastic. Are you struggling to figure out what to get your old man for Father's Day? Well, don't worry, at Hammers Chat we got you covered. Not only with some ideas, but also with a discount code. It's a whopper. It's 20% off of everything when you order online at Manscaped. The link is in the description below. Now, Manscaped is your one-stop shop for all your male grooming needs. Think out of the box, a bit like manscaping, really. It's not only have you got the lawnmower, you've got trimmers, you've got moisturisers, you've got colognes. There's a whole load of stuff on there and you get 20% off of all of it. Manscaped have sent me these boxer shorts, which are Boxers 2.0, which I'm sure are significantly better than the Boxers 1.0. Extra large they've sent me, I'm sure. There you go, that's the wrong way around. Very swish indeed. I'll be getting those on, but seriously, folks, use the link below. Go on to Manscaped, 20% off. Hammers Chat, all one word. This is great, by the way. This thing's waterproof. Did I ever tell you that? And it's got a torch, so if you are shaving where the sun don't shine, it's got its own little torch on there to help the sun shine where the sun shouldn't really be shining. And if not, you can use it on your face, and it'll do something like this. Go and check it out at uk.manscaped.com. There's a thought process here which suggests, look, if West Ham want to continually get better, shouldn't we be going out to try and get the best defender in the French league? And I think possibly we should, although that would be hard because you'd assume that Paris Saint-Germain would hoover up the best defender in the French league, wouldn't they? But actually, this guy's 26, so he's a good age, he's experienced. Moyes likes that type of thing, doesn't he? And when you look at how are they going to measure defenders in the French league, well, it's probably not just centre-backs. Got to take into account full-backs, probably wing-backs, stuff like that. There's probably people in other teams who would shine more. In terms of centre-halves in the French league, he's probably one of the best ones. So that's no bad thing. Now, we get to the rumoured transfer fee on this one. And the rumoured transfer fee is I don't know what to believe. And if I'm honest, it says it might be up to about £30 million. Now that for me is dangerous territory. We have to buy players. We really do. This is a really important transfer window. All right. Now I think we don't need to pay over the odds. We probably should be paying them the going rate. Kurt Zouma was 25 million, and they are the same age. This guy is no way better than Kurt Zouma. He's really not. At 30 million, it seems like a lot of money. But when you get deals like this, then wages come into play. And wages are very, very important here. Because actually, if over the course of a 5-year contract, he ends up earning 10 million less than a player that costs 20 million, 15 million, you sort of got the same thing anyway, haven't you, really? But I do think it's interesting. So he's not an outstanding player. He really isn't. But sometimes you just have to buy the right player that fits your system. Don't ask me about the Moyes MOT and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm not even sure how you would be able to scout for that. I'm not sure how you would be able to identify a player in the French league that's Moroccan and work out whether he's got the personality that's compatible with the other personalities in your squad. I don't know, but you have to do that at some point, otherwise you'd never buy a player from a foreign league, and obviously you need to. This guy does look good. He's got a lot of the qualities. I'm sorry, I'm probably underselling him a little bit. I just don't think he looks a world beater, but I do think on that left side of defence, I think it'd be a really good acquisition. If Ogbonna was fit at the very start of the season, would he play? I don't know. I really don't know. But what we need, David Moyes feels he needs another central defender, and he probably does, let's be perfectly honest. And it's not, I think numbers-wise, it's good enough, isn't it? But the fact of the matter is, he's not using all the numbers. It's a bit like numbers-wise in midfield, we were all right, really. You know, we were. The fact of the matter is, we started off the season. Before the season started, we had Alex Crow in there. Oh, sorry, but when the transfer... Well, you know what I'm saying. We had options of Alex Crow, we had options of Mark Noble, Connor Coventry before we sent him off on loan, and we had Declan Rice, we had Souček. In central midfield, that should be enough, particularly bearing in mind Lanzini plays in there sometimes, right? It's not, but it's not enough because he wouldn't use Crown at all. He sent Coventry up on loan, and let's be fair, Mark Noble's a bit part player this season. And I'd say the same at centre half. It's all very well saying, well, we've got 4 centre halves. We don't, because he only uses 3 of them. Diop only gets used in absolute emergency if he's got no other options at all. So I think if this is a guy he fancies and he's more likely to play him, then good on him. Bring him in. Bring him in. And if he perfectly fits the style of play, which I think he probably does, bring him in. If he helps out in terms of a lack of pace at the back, which helps us play a slightly higher line, which David Moyes probably wants to do, then I would suggest the same thing. I would tell you now, he's a little bit more of... he makes the tackle early, from what I saw about this guy. He'll either do an interception or he'll make the tackle early. And his stats, which hopefully I'll have edited in by now as I'm talking when I do the edit later on for the video, you'll see a bit of that. It's an interesting one. Look, you can't have it both ways. I'm talking about me here. Look, I think we should make a couple of sort of superstar signings this summer. And then I also think I wanted to see some of the scouting. I remember I said the video the other day, I want to see what Rob Newman's been doing. I want some players that I haven't heard of and don't know. And this would be one of them. I just didn't expect to pay 30 million. I thought the ones you didn't know would cost about 10, 15 million, something like that. Look, it's not my budget. If we've got a big budget, then absolutely fine. David Moyes will know he needs to leave enough room in the budget to bring in a central midfielder and obviously the really important striker. He'll know what he wants, but he's got a thing about centre-backs. I do wonder if he's got a buyer. If he's got a buyer for Diop, then this deal maybe doesn't look too bad. If you get rid of Diop for 15 million, I don't think you get much more for Diop, then, you know, maybe this guy's, 26, 27 million, something like that. It may well be that, and there's a net spend of 10 million on this guy, or 10 to 15 million, something like that. Anyway, could be really interesting. I maybe have done a whole video, and spent the morning watching footage of a player we're never going to sign. And I wouldn't normally do this type of video unless I thought it did look like there was a deal close. You get linked with so many. Obviously, you would get linked with 5 to 10 players a day. I can't do this video for every player we get linked with, but a lot of the noise is coming out of the club and journalists that are close to the club as well. Would suggest that this is a deal that looks like it may happen. So, there we go. There's probably not everything you need to know about Nayef Aguerd, but you're armed with a little bit more information than you had.